Cam invests in stock and bond for 1 year. At the end of the year, the stock had lost 10% and the bond had gained 3.5%. So we're earning some money from the bond, but we're losing money in stock. The total loss for the investment was $84. Okay, so the total loss was $84. If Cam had invested the bond amount into the stock and the stock amount into the bond, so if he just flipped around the investments, he would have lost only $14. So that would have only been $14. Okay, so maybe I'll do that in this color. So, okay, so how much did Cam invest in stock and bond? So that last part is what we really want to focus on first. How much money did Cam invest in stock and the bond? Well, that helps us set our variables. We're looking for how much money in stock and how much money in bonds. We're going to let those be our variables. So X equals the amount of money invested in stock, Y is the amount invested in bond. So once we establish that, we have to make sure that we recognize that the percentage in stocks is a negative percentage because it's lost. The amount in bonds is positive because we gained. And so we need to come up with two relationships now. And the two relationships are going to be determined by what I've highlighted in yellow and blue. Okay, the total loss for both investments was $84. So when I write my first relationship, it's going to be the amount that was gained or lost from stock. So stock is 10%. It's going to be X and it's going to be negative 10.5. So it's going to be 0.105 negative times the amount invested in stock. So that will give us the amount we lost in stock. And to that, we're going to add 3.5% that we gained. So it's going to be 0.035. And we gain that in bonds. So we need to multiply that by the amount in bonds, Y. And then that total was a loss. So it's got to be negative of $84. So that first equation is based on that yellow highlighted statement there. We need to then come up with a second equation. And the second equation is going to be based on that blue highlighted statement. So if we switch them around, okay, we switch the investments around, we lost only $14. So I'm going to write it like this. So for the X, we're now going to gain 3%. So the amount invested in stock is now in bonds, so we gain. And then we're going to lose 10%. So minus 0.105. And that's going to be the amount invested in, originally invested in bonds, Y. And now that's being lost in stock. And we're going to end up losing $14. Okay, so there's my second equation. So there's my two relationships and my two variables. So to solve this, we can do this a few different ways. But since 0.035 is actually a multiple of 1.105, if we multiply that by 3, we're going to end up getting 0.105. So I'm going to do that. So you could have maybe gotten rid of decimals or something like that, but we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to take equation 2, I'm going to multiply it by 3, and when I do that, I get positive 0.105x. Okay, so 3 times 0.035x is going to be positive 0.105x. I need to multiply the negative 0.105, so that becomes minus 0.315y, and then again make sure we multiply all parts of that equation. So 14 times 3 gives us negative 42. Okay, so at this point we can see that there is a zero pair here. If I add these together, there is a zero pair, so I'm going to add. Those cancel out. And so when I add this together, I'm going to end up with negative 0.280y, and adding those together, we get negative 126. Okay, so then I now can solve for y. Y is equal to, divide both sides by 126, or 0.280, so negative 126 divided by 0.280 gives me $450. So the amount invested in bond originally was $450. Okay, so we've solved for y. We still need to go and solve for x. So I'm just going to highlight y first, and then we're going to solve for x. To solve for x, we're going to use that second equation, and I have 0.035x minus 0.105 times y, which is $450. Okay, so that's what we solve for. That's what we had solved for over here. So that's where that 450 comes from, and that's equal to negative 14. Okay, so 0.105 times 450 is $47.25. So I'm going to end up with 0.035x minus 47.25, and that's equal to negative 14. I'm going to add 47.25 to both sides, and I end up with $33 and looks like $33.25. So 0.035x is equal to $33.25. And then I can solve for the amount x. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.035. And that gives me $950 in, so $950 represents the amount that was invested in stock at the beginning. So this amount here, this is $950.